Bristol and Connacht, 27 points to 18. Away win for Bristol. Apologies, I still have not had time to print out a magnet and make that up, but it is on my to-do list for the week. But man, bonus point away win for Bristol. Pat Lamb's return. Pretty satisfied, you'd have to imagine. Whereas Connacht, it kind of looks like they got comfortably beaten 27-18, but it was, I don't know, man. It was a pretty tight game. It started pretty bloody slowly. I'll go through some of the key events, the stats, and whatnot, and you guys can let me know your thoughts as well. But it was the fourth Irish provincial team that I ended up watching this weekend. Munster's one was obviously probably the pick of the bunch, but Ulster's one, heartbreaking if you're an Ulster fan, but that was a cracker. Leinster had a tough job of it with Northampton, but still got a pretty good win. Connacht at home, the commentators kept talking up how difficult it is to go there, and it proved to be at times, but then in kind of one big flurry in the middle, I guess, pretty costly. And man, Bristol just love running that bloody ball. I mentioned in the preview, I haven't seen enough of them to be kind of all that familiar with all of their players. Likewise, the Connacht guys, so it was a refreshing one, but yeah, both sides certainly showed a bit of something. Not early on. What they showed early on is they couldn't throw the bloody line-out ball. That was pretty frustrating. Like, Bristol conceded a few penalties early, and the line-outs were just struggling for Connacht, and then Bristol's line-out was struggling. The commentators mentioned that at that ground, it can be pretty tough when the wind really picks up, but they said there wasn't much wind, so there wasn't really any reason for it. So it was pretty frustrating. Johan Lloyd had one of the first real chances from a quick tap where he actually managed to get some good meterage, and that's like almost 20 minutes into the game. So prior to that, there wasn't a lot doing. 23 minutes, Sheedy put a pretty good tackle on Wooten to potentially stop what might have been kind of a sure thing try. It was looking pretty dangerous. It was a little kick. And, yeah, man, the game really started to become alive at that point. 10 phases, Connacht went, but eventually Bristol won the turnover. So, yeah, from that point, the game, like, if you're going to watch this one, like, after the fact, you can probably skip the first 20 minutes because there's, yeah, the exciting stuff kind of happens a bit after that. Interestingly, on, like, 29 minutes, Bristol had a chance to either, there was a free kick and they called for a scrum, but it was like 5 metres out from their own line, and both scrums are being penalised at that point, but they managed to win a scrum penalty, so bit of a confident call from the boys to get their front rowers to do a job. They certainly did it. Their maul was having a fair bit of fun, the Bristol maul. It got the first try of the game, and when I looked at the stats to see how many metres their maul got, it's among the most you'll see from a maul. But anyway, it's Brian Byrne gets the first one. The maul's just kind of heading towards the corner, and it manages to stay in. It's a typical forwards try, that one. Ugly conversion attempt misses, so it's 0 for Connacht. 5 points to Bristol, like 5 minutes from halftime. And Connacht get a penalty before halftime to at least get on the board, so it's 5 points to 3. 5 points to 3, and the final score is 27-18. Kind of tells you what you need to know about the second half. Like, if you really wanted to watch this game, but you weren't keen to see the first half, I wouldn't blame you. The second half is probably the one to watch. It starts off with Bundyaki getting yellow carded. He pulls back O'Connor from a kick through. It's a tough one, but he shouldn't be doing it. You give the referee a chance to make a decision, and it gets ruled against. And it's costly as well, because they sure do concede some points on that one. I said to myself, Connacht needs some big defence here. And they had it initially. They won a breakdown penalty. But Ed Holmes gets the try on 47 minutes. It's a big run from the lock down the left wing. And then he gets caught. They go through like a phase or two. And then Hughes gets the ball. Man, he draws 2 or 3 defenders. Pops the ball to Holmes for a second time. This time he goes over. He gets tackled, but the ref rules that he's not held, so he can get back up and score the try. This time they convert it, 12 points to 3. And moments later, O'Connor, who's player of the match, gets his own try. He gets into space. It's just the extra man, isn't it? Space out wide, 2-on-1, big dummy. The Connacht guy falls for it, and suddenly, with a bit of gas, it's 19 points to 3. And Connacht, at that point, are kind of looking dead and buried. But it had me, because I legit didn't know the result for this one. I didn't watch it live, I watched it delayed. But I had no idea about the result, and it had me thinking about the Munster result from the day before. And Connacht, when they had a chance down the other end, interestingly, didn't go for a penalty. I thought, man, maybe this is the time to go for it, because you've just conceded 14 points during your own yellow card period. Maybe you need to go for the 3. 56 minutes, they get a penalty. They turn down 3, but they go for the try, and they get it, man. They get it through a Halloran. They have an advantage anyway, so I can't remember who put the pass into O'Halloran, but man, it was a slick pass. He hits the ball with some power, and kind of, I think it's Lloyd who he hits him in the shoulder. So, Johan Lloyd's not the biggest guy. Getting his shoulder on him is not going to be enough, and he goes over for the try. So suddenly it's 19 points to 10, looking a lot more healthy for Connacht, especially when Siale Piatau gets yellow carded. They say his one's like a deliberate kind of late hit. And it's another one where it's like, it's not that bad, but if the referee's being a stickler, give them the choice to make the decision, and he makes the decision. So he goes into the bin. And at that point, Connacht do go for the 3 to make it 13 points to 19, which is striking distance. But took their foot a bit off the gas there. They conceded a few more penalties. And eventually, that man, Johan Lloyd, he gets a try of his own out on the right wing. He's pretty bloody close to the touchline, but they still give him the try. And it's essentially Bristol's maul. I think it won 2 penalties in the lead up to that. It's like penalty, kick for touch, maul, penalty, kick for touch, maul, go left, go back blindside, and suddenly Johan Lloyd's over. They missed the conversion, so it's 24 points to 18. But crucially for Bristol, that's 5 points gained with the man down. You would have thought, the way Lloyd went over, that he was on the team which had the extra man. 78 minutes, before that, Connacht hit back pretty much immediately after the Leo and Lloyd try. This one was Porch. He got his try on the right wing. Unfortunately, they missed the conversion for that one, so it's 24 points to 18. Did I say it was 24 points to 18 before? It was 24 points to 13. 24-18 makes it game on, and they win the yellow card 8 points to 5, which is like, okay, but ideally you want 7, not 3. That try conceded during the yellow card was pretty costly for Connacht. Bristol can get a penalty on 78 minutes, which essentially makes it game over. Connacht look to maybe go over in the corner at the death, but there's a big tackle. They check it to make sure it's not like a shoulder charge, but no, it's a clean tackle to end the game. So no kind of last minute miracle tackle or try for Connacht. It's game over. So, yeah, possessions 52-48, pretty even. Territory 60-40 in Connacht's favour. But, man, I mentioned Bristol like to run the ball. Like, they don't care about the territory. 60-40. Looks like Connacht's been dominant. But the run meters is 402 to 219 because Bristol just seem to be like, maybe this is me not watching them enough. We're in our own half. We don't care. We're going to run it. So, they're quite happy to run it out of their own half. Defenders beaten 16-14. Tackles 110 to 112. Missed tackles 14 to 16. So pretty close, man. All these stats are pretty close. Line out, though, Connacht's 79% is pretty costly. Bristol's 83% is not a lot better, but it is slightly. Turnovers 110 to 5. That one was in Connacht's favour, so that's one that went well. O'Connor for Bristol had like 113 run meters. Porch had 46 for Connacht. Most tackles, I think, was it Carty with 11, which is pretty unbelievable because it's not usually number 10 who is making all the tackles, I think, and Ben Earl made 15, so proper big shift from him as well. But yeah, overall, like, pretty entertaining game. Like I said, the start was a bit slow, but I was still interested. Like, sometimes you can kind of switch off when games get a bit slow, but it was still kind of tense. So I wasn't really switched off. I know not everyone would have appreciated the first half, but I still was enjoying watching it, which is not always the case when the games sometimes, they lack the scoring. But it was, I don't know. It was interesting to see the kind of the two styles at play. Bristol. Oh, they had I forgot to mention. Was it 65 maul? Yeah, 65 maul meters to 7. 65. That's crazy. That's crazy. It's more than pretty much all of Connacht's individual run meters, but you know what I mean. Yeah, interesting game. Means Bristol stay alive and Connacht are in kind of hot water at this point, but credit to them for being quite far behind and at least right up until that last penalty still kind of being within touching distance. So, yeah, interesting game. You guys let me know your thoughts on this one, and I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.